What's going on, boys and girls? Today we're going to install the coilovers that we have here by Max Beating Rods. So the way these are set up is the fronts are obviously a coil over, the rears are not. The spring goes in a cradle, I guess, and then this actually goes, I can't remember if it goes above or below, but anyways, it goes like this. This goes like, anyways, I got the instructions and all that stuff. While we're under there, we're going to continue installing the motor mounts that I bought for it. I just installed the important one that was making the most noise. Got this thing waiting patiently. She's going to be up on the chopping block a little bit later. First things first is clearing off all this snow, getting the car over into a better area. Now's a good time to check your brake pads. I was told that these were changed out in the front, which they do appear to be. But if you look over here, them bad boys is cooked, so I need to get those. So basically we have the coilover that goes up into the trunk and then the cradle. Boom. Right? Fucking paper thin rear fucking arm. Jesus. Honda. Good thing there's like a million of them. First you want to take your cowl off. Because once you got the cowl off, it's going to be 3 bolts up here on each side. You come down here, you take your brake line and the sensor line, you squeeze it and it pops out. And this is a 12, comes out. Move this off to the side. It's going to be these 2 bolts, probably 17s, and then the whole coilover just comes out. Pro tip, always want to spray your bolts that are looking kind of crusty with some penetrant lube. Now that the brake line and the sensor line are off on both sides, it's literally just those 3 bolts up there, these 2 bolts down here, and it all comes off. Once you pop those 2 bolts off, you want to support something under here so that this does not come forward and extend your axle out of the boot through there. As you can see, I have a nice little leak. Alright, let's that bad boy's out of there. Come over here. Here we have OEM coilovers. As you can see, I have them lined up. And at that point, they're equal. And also at that point, they're equal. I am at an angle here on this driveway, so I know that that probably had something to do with the differences. And so here we have camber adjustment. All right, setting preload. You'll see here from the bottom of the shock, or the coil, the black part, to the top of the black part. Okay, you measure, you grab your tape measure, and you measure in millimeters. Okay, so you'll see here that this bad boy is 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters on both of them. And that's from the bottom of the coil to the edge of the seat, which would be the topmost part of this spring. Both 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters. Rule of thumb is you want to compress 5 millimeters. So So we got 20 centimeters and you want to go down 5 millimeters, you'd go down half of a centimeter. There, you will see it's down half a millimeter or half a centimeter. So now what you want to do is tighten this ring down to it. All right guys, once you got your preload set, you want to measure from this, the bottom of this hat, or some point on this to the edge of this piece. Okay, you make them the same height. You measure from that line to that line. You look at the orientation. All right, so I have these set up as if they were like, if you're sitting in the car, this side is passenger, that side is driver. I got them oriented how they would be with the bolts sticking out. Now you'll notice there's a thick side, there's a thick side. So you want to orient everything the same. All right, got the passenger side on. Pretty gnarly. It doesn't look like it's gonna be, still have this much. And these springs are pretty stiff. So now to put this side, I'm just getting it kind of all equal. Time to tighten these up, put this together. I'll check back in. Make sure I shine bright. I'm in the drop with the Glock cock. You know I keep that iron 10 brain from a tight lane on out, man. In the turn of loving, real talk a lot of shit. I give the club, I'm having side. Make sure your camber adjustments are at 0, and then put your cowl back on, and then put the windshield wipers back on. All right, y'all, came into a problem. So, as with every Honda, this bolt is seized inside of the bushing. So, I mean, look at this thing. It's ruined. So, both sides, I've tried everything. I've tried forward, back with a really high-powered, impact gun. These are just seized as hell. So, what I need to do is sawzall right here, replace this arm because I can't find a replacement bushing, and to be honest, to replace the arm is better. So yep, gotta replace this. The same thing with over here. I mean, you can see the bolt head. I've just been trying to go back, forth, putting weight on it with a heavy long wrench, everything. So need to again cut the bolt boom here so this will release, and then replace this arm. Forgot I had this motor mount, and it's like right there. Let's see, and it's right there. So it looks like 17 times 3. And that shit pops out. Shipping up some fresh hard, put you out of town. We got 3rd board, 4th board, South Side G's, plus Southwest and blooded nickel rolling 83. It's Brewster, Texas, motherfucker. You know the name. It was CJ in February for the All-Star game. That bitch looked like she was ticking. So yeah, good thing I replaced this, because that pops out, which it's not supposed to do, right? So, all right, I came out here to the junkyard to fucking, I need bolts. It's like $100 for 2 bolts and 2 nuts. I'm not gonna pay that. Yeah, I'm just not gonna pay that. All right. Need that. I fucked up the other one. This is $40 and this is 10. So, all right, got those off. I found this piece. All right, there you have it. This, and these was gonna be like $70, $80. I got another one of these because the way I painted mine, wasn't too happy with it. Got a new mirror. As you'll see that the other one I have is all fucked up, so. All right, picking up where we left off. It's another day. These bolts, as you can see, they're seized as hell in there. I rounded them off. So what I'm gonna do, well, first and foremost, what I did, as you saw, new arms, because what I'm gonna have to do is cut, and who knows if I'm gonna damage, you know, the bushing and stuff, not to mention the car needs it. Learned that this is for the heat from the exhaust. All right, so seized. All right, so I was trying to get this bolt off for the shock, this one right here, but it's seized, so I got it soaking. Meanwhile, I was able to cut this side off, and you can see both sides of the bolt freaking welded inside of the bushing there. I was able to get that bolt off from this side really easily, so I just got to let that other side soak. Now that this is all apart, you press this down, you take that out, you put the other stuff in. So all right guys, got a little bit of an update. This is like day 3, day 4. It's been like a week actually, but so what I ended up having to do is this bolt was all right, so I had to cut this bolt off that was right here. It's the nut that holds, that bolts through, but the nice thing about having a bunch of Honda parts is I had a nut that goes through the bolt, so that'll be fine. Just got the A-arm, brand new A-arm installed. Gonna put the shock. First thing you want to do is obviously I'm gonna measure the shock real quick. 160 millimeters. So you take off the top shock support from the original, you take off the bottom. Max Peating Rod supplies the bottom and the top rubber. You set your height so both of these on both sides are equal height, and I just measured the spring and it's 160 centimeters. So we put this in there like this, we put that in there like that, put your jack underneath. So now the way you set preload is right here. Preload, like if you're looking at a coilover, the coilover is sticking between it, and when you adjust preload, you basically are doing what I'm doing with this compression, but you do it with the collar on the coilover. So that's preload on a coilover. Since the spring is apart from the shock absorber on this rear end setup, what I measured it initially, it's 160 centimeters, and we're going to compress it like 5 centimeters. So okay, so here you can see it's about 16.5 centimeters. So that's 165, and we'll go down to the 6. So boom, one compress of the we're going up, and right there. Now the 6 is right there. So that's preload. So now what I'm gonna do is stick the shock up in here, bolt it up to the top all the way, so it's all the way up, and then adjust the bottom to meet up with this area bolted in, and that's preset with the shock at the height that it needs to be. All right, that's preloaded. These are in. Next thing is to tighten everything. All right, got everything put back together. Gonna jack it down. See how she looks. Pretty high. All right, y'all. So I got it down on the ground. It was too high in the back. Car didn't want to start. I've been having this issue with this car where it intermittently didn't want to start. I checked everything, and the only thing it could have been was the starter. So that's the old one. It's got a new one in it. Oh shit. New starter in it. Also, the coilovers were too high in the back. So what I did was I basically just maxed them out all the way up. Whatever. They're both evenly compressed on both sides. And there's a little spider here. Legitimately a little spider right there. Anyways, so now we're gonna drop it down and see what's good. Alright guys, got the fucking coilovers installed, got them adjusted, everything's even. They're pretty low, put them up in there, nice and adjusted, preloaded, basically maxed them out all the way down. As you can see here, nice and low, nice and new. So this car has just gotten new coilovers, new control arms, new starter, new relays basically, because I painted the trim, cleaned the interior, washed it. I still gotta, I'm gonna reupholster the headliner. I painted the trim pieces black. She's got a little bit of an upgraded doohickey here. So obviously I'm not trying to film where I live, but coming out of my driveway, because my street is very curved, so it makes the car, and like, you know, I live kind of on a hill in the mountainy area of town. And because it's so elevation changey really quick, it makes the suspension compress. I'm turning, it just doesn't, it rubs so hard. But we're hopping on the highway, we're gaining speed. I mean, so far this thing drives pretty fucking straight. It's a nice little car, and I put some new shit on it, so hopefully it'll last me a little bit. So yeah, cruising on the highway, doing about 60. She cruises. I mean, it's a nice little Civic, you know what I mean? So all right guys, so all in all, I want to give a big shout out to Max Peating Rods. The car's looking great. The coilovers are not that bad. You know, a lot of people have their judgments, but they ride great. They're as stiff as any coilover that this height's gonna be. And you know, shout out to Max Speeding Rods for helping out.